Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, I got the website up and I will share it now. All right, this is the Empulser website.
It's like drum roll. Da, 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 da. Look at this.
So here, I'll go up a bit. Let's see here. All right, that is interesting. Oh yeah, there's some. All right, well, basically, this is our new site. There's going to also be a section for our AI tour guide, as I like to refer to it. That is the only part. There's like the only page, which is the coming soon page, and you had to click on that one. That's all right. Hit solutions, please, at the top of the menu.
Solutions.
Yes. So if you'll scroll down, you'll see we have Life Finder there. Further down, we have IoT and smart sensors, and further down we have S drone, M drone. We'll touch on that in a minute. And robotics. Robotics is the only page which is coming soon, and you had to click on that one first, but it's okay. It happens.
I'll go back. Robotics.
Let's go back. So let's go with Life Finder first, I guess.
Sure.
So here we have a page for Life Finder. If you scroll down, it basically explains the device, how it works, and we're gonna keep updating it with more information. You can keep going. There's some application ideas there, and you can also register your interest or submit like a conversation to start the order process. Right, so that's one part. If you click on IoT and smart sensors there, we have the same sort of layout. And again, if you scroll down, you have basically a bunch of just a bunch of information, and then an area where you can register your interest or place an order in here. And finally, okay, then we have the two drone projects. So I don't know which one you want to choose first. Let's do the S drone first. That's okay. I'll explain the M drone later. So you know the S drone, and you can scroll down. You got
Okay, good. Is this the actual S drone, or is this like a generated image?
It's generated because the photos that we have is not great. Like they're like low quality, so we mocked it up, but it does exist. I think you saw the video of it last week. And you can again place your interest, register your interest, or place an order. And finally, on the M drone side, so M drone series, M for MagRes, and the guy who's building it, who's Professor Mazza. So you have M drone for that. We'll confirm exactly the specifications of this one. And again, you have the register your interest or place an order.
This looks like one of the ones we were talking about that was doing all the recording for the Olympics and like the race car drivers.
Yeah, so there's like quite a interesting drone racing, FPV drone racing scene. So the M drone is going to be smaller than the S drone is going to be a quadcopter design, very much like the photo you have there. Yeah, it's going to be very close to that. There might be some minor changes, but that's kind of what we are building.
Looks like a spaceship or something, like a UFO.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of like receiver electronics that you have to protect, so that's why it's enclosed. A lot of these FPV drones, they have exposed wiring and stuff, so that's why we need to protect it, enclose it with some sort of casing, due to just the nature of how it receives the energy. So that's our sort of I guess main page now, and we're basically now starting to take so this site is up since, I don't know, a couple of hours now, and we're pushing people now to register interest, place pre-orders, that kind of so now it's like a real active commercial site.
No, this looks great. And you got a lot. I mean, like the products are all coming together. I think originally when we had you guys on, it was just like, you were telling us there's these drones. That's kind of all we knew. And then since then, we got Life Finder, we got the IoT and smart sensors. We see the M drone as well as robotics on here. And
Yeah.
we know, I'm not sure where the first page was, but it showed you had like 6 in development. You said now it's jumped up to like 16 or 14, 18. I don't know, different things you guys are working on.
Yeah.
developing.
And of course we have a lot of developments that we're doing both in product side, business. There's a lot of people who are looking for let's say custom solutions, so of course we have to cater for that. There's a lot in play, but I would urge anyone who is a supporter of Empulser to go and register your interest in something on this site. I would recommend the M drone. I think the M drone is going to be great fun for everyone. This is a consumer friendly product. It's not going to be too large. It's a series, so we will have a nano, a micro, a mini, and some more professional sized ones. You have also some roadmap information on the M drone and the S drone. There you'll have both of them there. You can look around. And this is probably the product that consumers would be able to, well, the product consumers would be most interested in and be able to buy it. So it'd just be a little drone that you can charge with CPT and play around with. That's coming soon.
That looks exciting. Do we know like the sticker price on this, or when is it coming out in March here? We'll be able to get our hands on this thing.
I think at the end of March we'll be able to forecast the pricing of it. The main problem with forecasting the price right now is scaling. So we know the component costs, but we know them as prototype component costs. We don't yet know like the projected or the real scaled manufacturing cost. So we don't want to also give people too much of a wrong price. We don't want to have that Tesla Roadster or whatever the first product was. We want to stay clear of that. So that information will come.
I really want to talk, we can touch on whatever you want here, but I really want to touch on this robotics thing because Josh and I played a video yesterday from China during the Chinese New Year, and it just showed the capabilities of these robots, and it was nuts. Like, it was nuts. Did you see that, Roman?
No, but actually my mother like messaged me that, and she was like, scary. That's how
dude.
she labeled it. So no, I didn't watch that, but I know the capabilities are getting really, really crazy.
Can we talk about what you guys are thinking about for, I can't find it, the robotics?
Which one do you want?
Here?
Robotics? Yeah,
here we go.
It's there. Yeah, it's just coming soon, so you may as well just leave it there. Robotics are going to be a spin-off product from the M drone series, because the technology that powers that drone is directly related to powering robotics. For a second, I thought the website developer left that video on our site. But okay, you got off YouTube or something. Okay, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Dom, you're muted, but this is wild. It's also
wild.
Like?
What do you say, Dom?
Is this what your robots are looking like? You said you thought he left this on your site, which means you for a second at least thought this was similar to the robots you guys have.
No, it's that. Look, I mean, humanoids require a lot of power, and so we are studying how to power them. I would say that I don't know the use is as interesting as people make it out to be. I don't know whether humanoids are really going to be as productive as some robots that are like really custom made for the application. Like for example, in warehouses, there's a lot of robots which, by design, are better at the function of working in a warehouse than humanoids. But humanoids are a very interesting space. They obviously attract a lot of attention, and so we are studying their power requirements to operate like this. I mean, robots that are operating like this, they kind of run out of battery like 10 to 45 minutes. I mean, this is really quite energy intensive stuff. So for them to be commercially viable, operationally useful, you're going to have to either have them change batteries all the time, or you would cable them, or you would use CPT, probably magres, to enable them to function.
You're planning on doing the demonstration of your drone with an unlimited flight time using your, wireless power transfer here.
Yeah, I'd like to caution unlimited. It's unlimited flight time as long as the motors last, because the motors will eventually burn up.
Right, which is less in your control, obviously, than the energy.
Yeah, we
transfer
haven't
itself.
gotten around yet to the motors, but we will. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Well, when you do that demonstration, you should have another ongoing demonstration of these things just doing backflips indefinitely.
Yeah, I mean,
At
it
some
could
point, you'll
be
have, like, a
it
whole
could be an
museum.
option.
You'll just have a bunch of
No, yeah,
robots and drones
it'll be
flying around
great.
indefinitely.
No, it would be great. It would be great. It would be great. I could be one of those kids doing the acrobatics as well.
You think you got that in you?
Patrick could be the other one.
See that kid jumping up here doing the clapping? That could be I could do that right there.
You do that? Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
No,
So as soon
no,
as the
no
lab
one wants
is
to
finished,
see that, Dom. No one wants
come
to
on.
see that.
as soon as the lab is finished, we'll get you guys down and we can choreograph something.
Okay, I think you'd be impressed with
That'd be
what I
awesome.
can do. And Josh
Yeah.
too. Josh
Yeah.
is super flexible.
Yeah, right. I did notice I saw this on the Empulser site. Thank you
Fire.
for throwing this up. I hadn't seen this until now. This is your, I believe your M drone here, kind of related solution. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I mean, I haven't been here myself. I mean, I've been literally in and out of tech and sales meetings. So the team that is developing like marketing and the site is kind of separated from me. So this this is one of the first times I'm seeing this. Is this in the blog section?
This is in the blog section.
Right.
So I do appreciate, but this relates to our last conversation. By mid-March, looking to break the world record for infinite flight time with the caveat of engines or motors.
Yeah.
With the drone hanger. We're on the 18th of February. Do you feel this still holds true in terms of a demonstration?
I mean, it's all material based. I mean, if the materials all arrive, they can be put together quick. So far, no one's raised any concerns about the arrival of the materials. So far, I have no concerns about that date. But with hardware, you never know. Something might just be delivered a couple of days late. Some stuff might just get lost at customs control somewhere.
Yeah, totally.
So
Your Claude bot can't solve for that. So.
And we got a question from Romaine Lettuce too in the chat. Are rare earth minerals required for induction charging?
A rare earth okay, well, rare earths are absolutely required for all of the tech that we do and everyone else does. So China has a massive grip on that. We don't use induction. We use magres, but there actually are some systems that do use induction, but that's not the marquee like headline products. But we absolutely use rare earths in the solutions. And more than that, so China controls rare earths, right? They have like a massive monopoly on that in terms of excavation, extraction, processing. But then they also have the best built out production, manufacturing, and global supply chain. So even products which are labeled as, I don't know, manufactured in Germany, like probably 75% of that has come in some capacity out of China.
And
oh, nice.
We have to. So just for
Oh my
context,
gosh, it's so good.
Trader Jones has done this to Dom and myself. Now
Oh,
you're
amazing.
getting that. It's all love. It's all love.
That is great. No, I love it. That's great.
You're a romaine
wow.
lettuce, I guess.
Wait, I love that. That is amazing. When I was younger,
in
I
real
had
time
a haircut. In real time, it's awesome. So like when I was younger, I genuinely had that haircut. I'm not gonna lie.
The romaine lettuce haircut.
Yeah, like I genuinely had that. That is literally perfect.
Wow.
Wow.
Wrap it up.
Thank you.
Crypto Jones. He's been doing this for us every
He's
stream.
been mogging the MCG crew on the timeline with the edits, so all good.
Let's do Patrick. I mean, wow. Let's do Patrick.
Yeah.
Next time he comes on, I'm sure we'll get something. What could Patrick be? Romaine lettuce fits really easily. What could Patrick be?
I like that.
I mean, saying mode. You can make him a ninja, but that's too cool. I think we got to make him like he's been kind of memeing us.
You got to humble him a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I'm the lettuce. What were you? You were the lemon?
I was Dom Lemon. Yeah, Dom Lemon.
And I was
Josh,
like an
you're next.
angry hockey player or something because I was holding my hockey stick and this guy got me with the hot.
Hey, at least you weren't the curling guy.
Yo,
yeah.
So that's okay. So people know about that virally.
Oh yeah, dude. Of course. How could you not? The push and the finger move.
Yeah, but who cares? Buzz beyond the line. That little push isn't gonna, that wasn't against was that against the Swiss? That might have been against the Swiss?
I know
against
Sweden. The Swedish and the Swiss. Everyone was complaining about it, but honestly, they should stop complaining about it. It's curling. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It's fine.
Come on, bro.
It's fine. Like, just let him do what he wants. Yeah, just
he's doing it behind the line. In all fairness, and like pushing it over like 100-foot like sheet of ice. Like there's
and if that poke is the deciding factor, then so be it. I thought it was a bit overblown.
I mean, maybe you said it was against the Swiss, Josh. Maybe the Swiss are just really
Swedish as well. I think the most fiery one was from the Swedish guys.
Yeah,
they take their curling serious, I guess.
Yeah, they do.
Nonetheless, we'll get back to the conversation at hand here.
Yeah, let's talk about like the solutions. We can go through them one by one if you like, just like a recap of where we're at.
Yeah, and also on the robots, would it be powered the same way in terms of just you would have a big grid area where the contactless power transfer is just emitted to anything that's receivable in it, and the robots can function as long as that's turned on?
Yes. So actually, if you want to talk robots, let's click on the M drone one, because that's the most like related. Because robotics will come out of the drone concept. So what you'll have is, CPT always relies on power source and a transmitter and a receiver. So the way the transmitter would be set up is essentially a tile, like a ground tile. And so let's say the robot is working in a certain area, whether that's, I don't know, in a warehouse facility or whether it's in a coffee shop or wherever it is. You would have this tile, and it would emit energy like around the robot. The robot would be wearing the receiver unit. The receiver unit could be designed in a couple of ways, but I presume it would be similar to a backpack if it's a humanoid. If it's a non-humanoid and is driving around like on a platform, because there's a lot of warehouse robots which are kind of designed like a flat platform with wheels, then this is probably the most efficient way to design a robot for a lot of applications. And so the receiver would be embedded there, so you have nice close contact. You could also have a design whereby it's like a gate, so like an arch, and the robot would work in the arch to receive magres power. There is a way to also put the tile, say, on a wall or on a ceiling. So, but basically, you would have to have a transmitter and a receiver. The receiver, like either a backpack or like a plate for a platform style robot.
And is this solution going to go on to existing robots, or are you building the robot from the ground up with a solution incorporated?
We would definitely start with creating a solution for an existing robot. Robots are extremely expensive to develop, especially humanoids. I think Boston Dynamics, I think it's public knowledge that they have raised huge sums of money, and they have to raise huge sums of money until they become profitable. I think it's a Hyundai group, right? I think it's like a Hyundai group which acquired a lot of Boston Dynamics.
I'm not sure.
Maybe you can search. I don't know, but yeah, you have to inject a huge amount of capital for robotics. So in the initial phase, we'd absolutely use someone else's robot, and afterwards, maybe we would develop some of our own. But I don't know if there's that much point in developing our own.
No, I mean, you
I
could
don't know.
essentially create like kits, I guess, upgrade kits for
Yes, like a
existing
backpack, you know.
robotics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, look at that. So Hyundai Motor Group completed its acquisition of a controlling interest in Boston Dynamics from SoftBank in June 2021 in a deal valuing the robotics firm at 1.1 billion. Hyundai holds
Bro, that
85
looks
stakes.
cheap.
It honestly
Like,
does. Well, that
that's
was
cheap in this today, like seeing what's going on in China. And even the Boston Dynamics robots, they have talked about like they won't have human animatronic movements, like the hand or the fingers like flip backwards or something to like more efficiently rotate the body. And like there's just weird movements that they brought out that were interesting.
Yeah, actually that's another massive boost for induction or magres power and data, is because in the joints of these robots, as they're rotating over and over again, it wears down the wires. So that's one of the most common points of failure, is actually the wiring within these drones and that robots. And Boston Dynamics has been developing a it's like a rotating circular joint, so their joints can go all the way around. And I haven't seen their tech or their patent, but I presume it's using induction at the moment to basically allow power and data to flow without the need for wires. So all of their joints are WPT joints.
wow. Boston or Hyundai killed on this one. They probably spent about $800 million on this, and I mean that was in 2020, 2021. They're probably up so significantly because I mean the acceleration in robotics has been phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'm actually
Hmm.
pulling up this energy transfer thing because I saw this and it was wild. Can we play this? It's like 50 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
Pull it up. You got it.
tag me in here.
And as you can see, its walk is pretty natural and pretty smooth. We've partnered with our sister organization, the Robotics and AI.
What's the context here?
Push the limits on natural walking just for this performance. And I think
That
we've done
right
something
there.
really special. We've also been at this robotics
Uh-huh.
for a while. And
So all of those joints are powered by WPT,
What the heck?
induction most likely.
Because if you think about it, Dom, before, if the robot twisted 360 degrees, the wires would get twisted.
What
So
the heck?
right now we have robots like this that aren't doing human, like you see, instead of like walking and turning, it just
That is
rotates.
wild. That's
Yeah,
wild. And its fingers went all like
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yo, Hyundai gonna cook on this
Yeah,
deal.
so the future of these robotics designs are going to have coupled power and data transfer in every single joint. And I don't know how many joints there's. One on the neck. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 on the arm, right?
One,
and then
2, 3,
probably
4,
a
yeah.
bunch on the fingers, the hip, the legs. So that's a lot of WPT there. I call it WPT because it's probably using induction rather than magres.
So who's powering this currently? Like, obviously, your solution could step in. You could do a contactless power transfer with your technology, but who's doing this for them right now?
Well, I mean, induction is a very well-known technology, and I'm pretty sure if they were able to build this robot, they would probably be able to create an induction loop. So they've probably made it themselves. I mean, there's so many manufacturers and suppliers of induction technologies. So I don't know who, but induction has almost become like a commoditized technology almost. Pretty much anyone can do it.
Got you.
So the question is, all right, they have this induction tech. Regarding their intellectual property, can they design something that is truly unique and beneficial for that exact application? So as a technology becomes more and more commoditized, let's say, you've got to basically create intellectual property which is like laser focused on a specific problem. So they probably have some patents for power and data transfer for robotics joints. And that's how they protect their IP.
Got you. And just like you said earlier too, and if I pull back up this little Google thing, like you said, a lot of these components and a lot of these robots are going to be used for manufacturing plants rather than humanoid like robots.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so humanoid. Well, I mean, I think one of the benefits of having humanoid robots in manufacturing is because a lot of manufacturing is already designed for humans. And so you have like an easy kind of replacement. But I mean, first of all, there's ethical questions about how many people you replace, and how quickly you replace them. And secondly, I think that the future would kind of more or less, especially in very specialized jobs, lean more towards industrial robots. So the stuff that's basically like a platform, and then it has one of those robotic arms. There's plenty of companies which already do that. I mean, that's how cars are assembled right now.
Yeah.
Right. So humanoids are extremely complex. They're not very energy efficient. So I think the future of robotics isn't like we'll probably see humanoids more, but I think specialized robotics would be more prevalent.
Yeah. So on that note, I look at what you guys are building. You have so many different things you're working on and building. Like, why are you maybe spreading yourself so thin is not the right terminology, but it feels like you're going after so many different things. How do you find think about finding product market fit with one thing and focusing all in on that rather than like 15, 16 different things? Or I just want to hear your thought process behind your approach
Yeah,
here.
I mean, yeah, so for example, Life Finder is something that specifically Tim is working on from a team. Tim has been in this industry, global commerce, shipping, for more than 25 years. You see him there on the left side. And he is the main guy focusing on that. So we're able to leverage the strengths of the team. So what Tim can do in an afternoon is what someone else would take like 10 years to do, because he has those contacts, he has that credibility, he knows the right people. Part of sales, maybe the most important part of sales, is actually verifying and identifying which is your most interesting customer or potential customer, and then working on that. So a huge part of any business expense is customer acquisition cost. And because, for example, Tim has been in this industry for so long, we're able to, and we are right now in a lot of discussions with distributors, ship owners, and we potentially will have some major news on LifeFinder. I hope. Well, I was actually hoping for last week, but you know how negotiations go; it can sometimes take their time. But I hope towards the end of this month, if not this week, then towards the end of this month, we should have a really big announcement for LifeFinder. We're really close to finishing up a big distribution deal, and that's going to really propel LifeFinder, propel our IoT project, and that's all because of Tim's 25 years in this industry.
And when you say, is the product ready here? When you say distribution deal, would that be, okay, product's ready to go, now we just need to work on the distribution side?
I mean, literally, LifeFinder is deployed. Like, it's already deployed. Like, there's a car carrier in the US called ARC, ARC, and it's deployed there already. And the staff are using it, the crew are using it. It's a proven system. There's I don't want to speak too much, but it's going to soon be deployed on other shipping companies. So that's totally done. That's like it's.
So are you guys already generating revenue on this, or is this first kind of cohort just to test it out, make sure everything's working well, and you're kind of
the ARC deal that LifeFinder did was maybe 2 weeks before we partnered with them. So that was just before us, right? So we came in just after the ARC deal was done. So that's why also it's interesting for us, because we, as say people coming into this space, we realize what a phenomenal product it is and it's proven, and now we can take it to the next step. And we're in conversations with a really big distribution company, which, if it's completed, which I'm feeling like 95-99% chance is going to be signed off. It's going to be a massive deal. It will give us the ability to have a captive audience of thousands of assets at sea, oil rigs, ships.
Oh, wow.
Coast
and
Guard.
Each of those assets will have likely multiple crew members on board.
Yeah, of course. You know, loads. And so I'm not saying we'll immediately have those sales, but it's a captive audience that are sitting there and waiting for such solutions. So that's a huge deal for us.
So how I'm understanding this is you guys have this LifeFinder technology, you have the IoT and smart sensor technology, and these are already products that are pre-existing. And now what you're doing is stepping in on the distribution side and then also planning to implement your technology into these in the future.
Right. Because the LifeFinder device right now, wearable that you have now, is the battery is advertised as 2 to 5 years. And then you got to swap it.
And so then Tim Raymond. Jack, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. And so what we will do is very soon we'll basically take the PowerCast energy harvesting chips that work on RF and put them into the Lifefinder product.
Got you. And so heading
And
up.
yeah, and the best thing is that Lifefinder works via a network of beacons. So you place a bunch of beacons around your ship into every room. These beacons right now are communicating using RF, but they're not charging, they're just communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our two strategic partnerships, Lifefinder, Powercast, we deploy the Lifefinder, which use battery right now. Then we will take the Powercast RF energy harvesting chips, put them into the wearable, and we already have deployed beacons which are already emitting RF into the environment. So it works beautifully.
Mm.
And so everything we do is strategic, and that's why those two really work well with each other.
Yeah, you've talked about this master plan where it's like, okay, get it into people's hands and then come in with the upgrades that solve some of these solutions. And you already have the distribution accounted for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Makes
and
sense.
People are going to say, look, the Lifefinder system, phenomenal. We love it. But man, 2 years on a battery is maybe not enough for me. And we go, no problem. Here's the upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
And
and for something like Lifefinder too, it's like you can't have it die, right? So you have to kind of preemptively buy new ones before the old ones die, because if it's dead and then someone goes missing, well, it's dead, right? So your solution uniquely works for this because there is no preemptive, okay, this still works, but I actually have to go out and get another one because we need to keep people safe. So makes sense.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
with that as well, Tim Raymond here, he's well versed in this area. He's really helping with that distribution side, is what I'm assuming. You said what he can do in an afternoon is what took people 10 years. I think you meant to, like, what you mean by this is he's got all these relationships. He's been in the industry for a long time. So now he's just reaching out to these contacts and the distribution is flowing really through him.
Yeah. And he spent so long, he knows who is a good guy, who's a bad guy, who to avoid, who to work with. And, in the startup business, one of the biggest problems you run into, you might have phenomenal products, phenomenal operations. This all ticks everywhere. You go to your first customer, and your first customer you think is great, places a big order, doesn't pay or something, then you're done. That happens a lot to startups. So by having this experience, by having this multi-domain team, we're able to mitigate a lot of those startup failures.
Makes sense. Romaine Lettuce again says in the comments, can you explain the key advantages and disadvantages of magnetic resonance, magres, over induction charging?
Yeah, so induction requires very precise alignment. So if the transmitter and the receiver aren't exactly aligned, then you can't get power transfer. Secondly, induction requires very close distance, almost touching, for it to transmit energy. But the positive is that you can get very high efficiency with induction, and versus magnetic resonance, whereby the alignment is a lot more flexible. So anywhere within the three-dimensional magnetic field that's created, you can charge your receiver unit. You can also charge multiple units from one transmitter. So for example, if I had my magres desk, which is in the other room, but say I had my magres desk here, I could charge my two phones, my headphones, and my computer and my desktop at the same time. And you can't do that with induction. So it offers greater flexibility at the cost of total efficiency. So the most efficient induction systems can be like 90 something, like 98, 99%. Magres generally is less in real world situations. So if my desk is 100 watts and I have a receiver unit on my phone, the receiver is 7 watts, So obviously it's just 7% efficiency, but I could have 9 phones, all on 7 watts, charging all at the same time. So it's a balance.
Yeah, and would it be like a staging area, or like where would the room that's actually charging us, or would it be in every room? Like on it, if you're to take an oil rig, for instance, like would it just be in the crew cabin area? Like you wouldn't need to charge those, everywhere. Like if they wore them in the chow hall or the mess hall, everyone would go through that area. Like
Yes.
how do you think about what gets energized versus what doesn't, I guess is my question.
Yeah, so the Life Finder device is very low power. So just by walking past some of those beacons, you will gain enough power to maintain charge. Every room that you want to have Life Finder data, so location tracking and other stuff, especially in the ship, which has a lot of metal. So you'd need to put a lot of beacons in every room, basically. So that's plenty of power to charge all of your Life Finder devices using RF. Now, if we wanted to use magres, we could also use magres for like really rapid charging for Life Finder as well. So we can use both systems, but I think we'll probably end up with the RF one because it's a little bit more compact. The smallest magres receiver that I have is well, it's actually pretty small as well. There you go. That's the smallest one that I have.
Okay, there you go.
It's
Can you
very thin
put
as
it
well.
up on screen again? There you go. Okay, nice. Okay, so it's a little like chip with
So that could, that could definitely fit on a phone, right? That could absolutely fit on the phone. You can have many of these on the phone. So it's possible.
And
The
like
question is
that
choose.
little receiver, are you guys manufacturing that, or are you working with a contract manufacturer, or are you more on the implementation of the technology?
That's a great question. So this here comes from PowerCast to us.
Right. Okay.
Then after we get these, we then need to put it into a product. Now we can also go to PowerCast and make a product together, or we can take these and make our own products out of them. So that's a strategic choice that I'll defer to Patrick for that. But we can do both, basically. And they get these from Etherdyne Technologies. Etherdyne is partnered with PowerCast. PowerCast partner with us. That's the chain.
Right. And so for the drone, I guess proof of concept that you're doing coming up here, this infinite flight, as long as the electric motors can take it, they're not using that little magres transmitter. They'll use a larger version of that. What does it look like for a drone
they'll
versus
use a larger
IoT?
version.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll use a larger version, which I have a larger version here as well.
Can you show us that?
There's the two options.
Okay, cool.
Even that seems relatively small, though. Is that all it takes?
Yeah. Now we can all like it. The other thing is, the question is, how many of these do you use? So do you remember a long time ago? Well, it feels like a long time ago. In hardware, it was like yesterday, but a long time ago, it feels like in crypto world. We showed a concept of a drone which had that electric ducted fan with the shroud.
Yeah.
So the shroud would contain 1, 2, 3, 4, however many we need of these. Also, it could be a larger diameter than this, so it could be any diameter. You just need to design it to be such. So if each one produces X amount of energy, you basically calculate how many you need, and then you implement it.
What other cool little hardware things do you have sitting behind the camera there, Patrick?
Well, I mean, I have a lot here.
You just got like an entire junk drawer full of just
Yeah, he
biotech.
turns around. There's like a drone like sitting on in like
Well,
a garage.
I got the Fortitude engine just there, and
Can you throw that on screen or not? Not today.
It doesn't have the modesty curtain, but
Okay.
anyways, right? We could, I guess I guess we could show how much power it's generating from an LED light, because I don't have the laser here, but I could do the other. No, maybe not time.
Huh?
Maybe
Hey,
another
hey,
time. Maybe
now
another time,
now
guys.
is always a good time, but no, whatever you're willing to share. Well, okay, so you talked about power transfer with an LED light. Like, would you be having a sensor or something on the engine and then shine a light at it and you could see changes in the energy?
Yeah, I mean, you can
absorption?
just hook up a voltmeter and you can see it.
Okay.
That's simple.
Maybe
simple.
we run through just some other updates, because there's so many products to kind of go through here.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would recommend we should look at the IoT one there.
Yeah, because we talked about safe, whatever it is. I forget the name. Slipped my mind. All right, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so this page is basically dedicated to PowerCast technology, which actually might have another goodie here. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. I think we've seen this one before.
Yes,
the PowerCast. This is the PCT 200. It's a bit beaten up. I've been traveling around with it, showing potential customers. But this is able to the PCT 200 is a temperature and humidity sensor. It could also work as a data logger. You could use it in logistics. You can use it in agriculture. There's so many applications to this thing, and we are working on a couple of very interesting customers for that. One is a real household name in technology, and I don't know how soon we'll be able to release something on those guys, but we're working on I would call it like a multi-billion-dollar deal basically right now, for these products.
A multi-billion-dollar deal for the Life Finder, or is this just for the smart sensor?
For the PowerCast sensor technology.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's I mean, can you? I mean, I don't know what kind of information you could give us, but like, what would that be? What would that be powering?
Sensors. It will be powering industrial sensors. So you probably don't know just how many IoT and smart sensor devices there are out there. I mean, like, if you go to a public space, you got hundreds of temperature, humidity, motion detectors. I mean, you got even like even those taps where you like wash your hands, they got a sensor in it. You go to a bathroom, the like motion detector to turn the lights on. You open a door, that's got sensors in it. Sensors are absolutely everywhere, and basically they are wired or battery powered. So one of the biggest nightmares is basically if electrician or engineer A installs your smart sensors in your building. Say you own a block of offices. They install these sensors, right? Let's say engineer A retires, and engineer B needs to come in and change some temperature sensors because they gone past their use by date, whatever, gone past their warranty. Can you imagine opening up like a wall and basically like untangling like thousands of cables and going, Jesus Christ, which one do I remove here? And that's happening all the time. So it's a real pain. And also you can't put stuff where you want them. Like ideally you want this temperature, like if this temperature sensor is linked to my heating and cooling system, ideally I need this sensor as close to me as possible, maybe even in my pocket, because what you want the climate control system to know is the temperature and humidity of where I am. If it's put inside the aircon unit, which is often is, it's either way too hot or way too cold compared to the actual living environment. So that's why you often go into like an office block or any building and you go, guys, it's really hot in here. Or, oh my gosh, it's really cold. Because the sensor that's controlling the environment is not actually feeling what you're feeling. So by deploying these, you can actually reduce your energy costs. And when you have a massive block of offices, that's a substantial cost that we'll be saving. Not to mention the labor cost of, well, you can just put this wherever you want. Yeah, I can bolt it under a desk if I need to. You can even hand these out to your workers, so you know where they are, where the footfall is, and on top of that, the temperature automatically adjusts to what those people are feeling.
This is wild. Okay, so we said we had the update for the smart sensor, that you have a big distribution deal that you're working on 95% of the way, confident that it's
For
going to
Light
get done.
Finder. That's for Light Finder.
That's for Light Finder. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. And then for the smart sensor, you're on the cusp of what could be a multi-billion-dollar deal with a household name. The S drone, you have still shooting for mid-March for the demonstration you have.
So the M drone, the MagRes one, the small the one that's possible for consumer goods, that is still on the way for March, sometime in March. And that series of drones, basically you'll have everything from like micro drones all the way up. So we're working on that one, and it seems to be on schedule. The S drone, we have the drone platform, which you can literally buy it today. it's that. We'll have real photos of it later. It's just I wasn't happy with the photos, so we did it like that for now. But those are guaranteed specs on the S drone. We have the Fortitude engine, which is producing power. And it's about like installation and getting the licenses and the space and all that. So that's an ongoing effort. So all in all, I would say we're absolutely on track.
Jeez Louise, full steam ahead. Investable alpha is always what we look for on the show. You guys obviously have the token. Can you talk a little bit more about this multi-billion-dollar deal? Would it, I'm trying to just understand so we can try to value this token fairly here. What percentage of that would look like? Revenue versus profit? Of course, you can't spit out definite numbers, but can you give us an idea so we can just piece these together?
Okay, so first of all, on regarding the IoT smart sensor market in partnership with PowerCast, this is a proven system. 30 million units have already been sold, predominantly in the US. We're taking them to everywhere else, every other market, and we're talking to massive companies. And I don't know how you would even begin to value that. Actually, someone asked me how do I value that just a couple of days ago, and I said I have no idea. The market is absolutely huge. There's not many players in this market. Powercast, I strongly believe, have the best RF technology. They have a phenomenal team. They're US based with the ability to manufacture in many countries. We're the only, let's say, company which is well placed in US, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia. And we have a team of phenomenal people. I don't know of any other CPT, WPT company which has someone like Patrick on it. Not to even
Or
begin to
Roman.
mention Tim and some of the other guys. Well, I don't want to talk about myself. I see myself as CPO, Chief Problem Officer. But hey,
It's good. More problems
so
hopefully mean more is going on. So it's good to have a chief problem officer title.
That's I might rebrand myself to Chief Solutions Officer. Maybe I'll rebrand myself.
I like the ring there.
But how do you value it? I don't know. It's complicated. I think I'll leave that to you guys. Some other people who are in the know. It's difficult. I mean, crypto isn't in the best spot right now, right? I mean, I haven't been following it so much, but
yeah, but can you even call this crypto? Like it's not a crypto company.
No.
You just have a token attached to it, which is some sort of
Right.
pseudo equity, if you will. Yeah.
So how exactly that correlates, difficult to say. I think the best thing, like my honest advice, is for people to watch this space. Keep coming and watching MCG. Yeah, keep your eye out on developments.
I want to talk more just theoretical. What do you see happening in terms of development with the world in general? It seems like we're seeing so much come up. We watched the video of the Chinese robots doing backflips, swinging a sword around. We're seeing the advancement of AI. People thinking they're cracking AGI every day and autonomous thinking. Like where the heck is the world headed in the next 5 years? And like, what are you guys doing specifically to prepare for it?
Yeah. So where the world is heading in the next 5 years. So there's going to be absolutely major technological breakthroughs. Everything from energy to AI to medicine. I think there was a Chinese company which made some de-aged some monkeys from 70 years biological to like 25, and apparently they're going to start doing human trials. So the world is technology is really going very, very fast. Can our political systems, can socioeconomic factors keep up with the speed of developments? That's the biggest question. There are several threats on the horizon, such as geopolitical tensions. For example, there are instabilities regarding former, let's say alliances and things which aren't looking so great at the moment. On the other side, you have China, which is controlling supply chains, so this needs to be addressed as well. So there are threats, but there are absolutely enormous opportunities, and it's about, I think we have to look at democratizing the economy. I think the economy has to work for more people, and so that's why our mission, our vision kind of aligns, because we're about democratizing power in the literal sense and also in the economic sense as well. We want to bring as many people on board for this incredible journey that we're undertaking. And I think that's probably the most important factor in it.
You know what this kind of feels like, and I wasn't alive and present for the space race where, you had Russia, China, United States competing to get to the moon. But that's kind of what this AI race feels like. It feels like they're putting, we're seeing the United States try to bring people to develop, manufacture, create power plants, create all this stuff in the United States. China's obviously doing the same thing with the supply chain. And it feels like we're just about to see a mass influx of money pouring into the stuff from the government because they have to do it to compete. Like, what does that mean for you guys in terms of positioning? Do you think a lot of the money in this for this is going to be coming from the government in the future? How do you think the AI race is going to continue to accelerate?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, AI is, so there's two transformational technologies that are going to really happen. The first is AI, and the second is energy. And I believe both of them are going to be distributed. What do I mean by that? I strongly believe that these sort of mega projects that people are undertaking right now may be non-sustainable. So we are entering the AI space via a company or a series, a number of companies, which are basically deploying these AI data centers, but they're distributed. So they come in containers. So there's a whole AI data center in a container, shipping container. It comes with its own solar power or some sort of renewable power generation and is deployed anywhere you want. And we're entering this space to basically deploy smart sensors into the containers, as well as look at the possibility of transmitting power to and from each container. So let's say you had a field of 100 of these containers. Say you have a ranch. I was going to say farm, but I think ranch for the audience.
Ranch is fitting.
Right. And you had a massive ranch and you go, you know what? I got some like land over there. I can't do it. It's non-productive land, but I own it. It's maybe a little bit high altitude. So I'm gonna rent out that space to this AI data center company, which is going to come down, put these data centers, which are containers, on those hills that I own, and it's just going to be paying me money. And in those containers, we're going to have our temperature, humidity, and other environmental sensors in those containers, as well as the possibility to have distributed energy transfer from wherever the energy is created to the containers and back and forth, maybe even to the house. So the distributed energy, distributed data empowers people, which is what we need to do right now. We have enormous concentration of wealth, literal data, literal energy. And I don't think that's a sustainable model for the future, especially when we have enormous efficiencies coming in from robotics and AI and whatnot. So I think that distributed energy, distributed data, distributed income is the way forwards. Everyone who's participated in our token, that's the opportunity for them, because by the time they get to invest into like a stock listed company, it's kind of too late to see those massive returns, right?
Yeah.
So getting in early and going for that journey is the name of the game, I think, and we have to bring as many people on that journey as possible.
So you foresee a future where we're just going to have these big crates shipped into open land, and people are going to be able to rent out, basically be
Right,
landlords.
Yeah. Right now, yes, that's already happening right now, and it's far more efficient than building a massive, far more efficient in the long term than building these massive centralized data centers. And eventually those data centers are going to move from like, let's say, massive centralized buildings to these like containers, which are like decentralized. And then they're going to take the next step, which is they're going to become smaller. So that tech is going to become smaller at every step of the way. And I think that's a much healthier socioeconomic environment than we have now, which is everything is being centralized. So regarding funding, actually, I think the future of funding is both government funding, so big ticket government funding, but also funding from private individuals and private companies.
So my question here then is this like, is there a certain geographical location that's more susceptible to having, prospects for using their land for these little mini data centers, if you will? And like, are you personally, or just some advice to everyone, like looking to buy real estate under the assumption that this is going to come to you eventually?
Well, I currently being in Switzerland, there's not that much just like land. I mean, there's a lot of mountains. I don't know how much
No, they're talking about doing this in Western Canada, because Canada doesn't have like a big AI data center like they do in the US, like the big multi-gigawatt facilities. But in Western Canada, they have the cheapest natural gas of anywhere in the world. And you could all these abandoned wells, like there's all these nat gas wells where they literally flare it off. And so, yeah, they were talking about this with the mining thing, like with Bitcoin mining. But now it's all about AI compute, because Bitcoin mining is whatever. So, but I do know in Western Canada, they're trying to do this.
No, I mean, look, it's I think that's the future, because whenever you have huge centralization of money, literal power, and then information, that's non-sustainable. You're basically excluding everyone. And you can't have that. No society will in the end tolerate it. Therefore, the best way is to decentralize it. And actually, it makes it far more resilient to have a decentralized, almost like a physical blockchain of energy, data, and economics. To really decentralize this thing. So a lot of these mega projects, I mean, in this wireless power transfer, contactless power transfer world, you have a lot of people looking at setting up these massive like solar farms in orbit and then transmitting ridiculous power down to Earth. That's great, but you know what's better is for the same cost, or in fact way less, you can literally deploy solar panels to people's homes. Okay, the top line efficiency may not be as great, but you have far greater resilience. Okay, there's other considerations like battery, like power storage and distribution and all that, but the way forwards has to be distributed. If you have too much centralization, it's more brittle.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ukrainians are discovering this because they lose a power plant and they have like 50,000 homes without heat and energy. I mean, which is a problem. So
yeah, and geopolitical stability right now isn't great at the moment.
No, we covered this at the top of the show too. On that, like, do you have any takes on just non-political, but just talking about like the information, like any takes on the overarching, like we talked from a technology standpoint, but just like drones and more in general?
You mean sort of in defense?
Well, I'll throw a couple at you.
like-
So there's drones. The US just moved a nuclear reactor in like 3, globe masters around. There's talk about nuclear-based propulsion that Isaacman is talking about at NASA, getting that program started up. Just high level, any thoughts on these kind of topics?
Well, I think, I mean, genuinely, I think drones and robotics are absolutely winning industries, and we're going to see a lot more of that. There's a lot of great, but maybe slightly too far out there technologies that could be designed or made soon. I don't know how impactful they'll be on a scale. But I do think that drones, robotics, that's really coming. I also strongly believe in distributed energy. I mean, we're looking at like in Europe and in China, so much of our electricity is coming from renewables, which are fairly distributed in comparison to, say, coal plants or nuclear plants, although the French have a lot of nuclear plants. But the French have so many nuclear plants, it's almost distributed again. So I think that's the future. And regarding like defense technology, it's really it's accelerating very quickly due to the threat environment that you have right now. I think there's going to be a lot more conflicts, small and large, coming in the next 10, 20 years. We're going to have this period. And during these times, if they're difficult, but some companies do very well.
What's exciting to me about CPT is I think about the future, and I think there's so much fear mongering and doom around like this AI is advancing so fast, and we're seeing like software companies take massive hits because now anyone can basically build anything in software, and it's only going to advance to the point where the idea guy can whip up whatever he wants. What's exciting about Impulser specifically is this is dipping into manufacturing a lot, and it's a company that's not so easy to break into. I'm not going to say anything's future proof, but it feels like one of those businesses, those business models that's much more future proof than a lot of software. Like obviously you're going to be supportive of the position you guys have had and currently have, but like any thoughts on that? Just the technological advancement around software and how you guys are positioned against it.
Yeah, well, actually, I would definitely like to cover one of your implied points there about sort of future-proofing, barrier to entry regarding our business, which is there's certain levels. It's like an onion. And the first layer of the onion, the easiest to get into, is going to be effectively the industrial applications, so the IoT devices, the sensors, the RF. Because I'm not saying that's easy to get into. It's difficult. There's a lot of gatekeeping there, and there's a lot of trust that needs to happen for a deal to go through. So that's probably like the least protected part of our business, which is already very difficult.
Yeah.
I do strongly believe that within the next 5 to 10 years, so we have five years or so to expand very aggressively into RF, because after 5 years, there's going to be a lot of players in the RF CPT game. So our job is to expand as quickly as possible, and that's why we've gone with the best hardware manufacturer, PowerCast. They really have the best RF, and that's why we're looking for partners. Instead of spending, I don't know, 3 years developing it from zero, right? We've skipped the R&D. We're going to go to deployment. We're going to deploy as quickly as possible, build brand recognition, and have that protected market. After RF, you have the other products like MagRes and everything in between, which is probably like even harder to enter than MagRes, than RF. But the most difficult one is going to be laser and aerospace. So our Fortitude engine and the laser power transfer that we're developing, entirely ourselves, so like it's proprietary from A to Z. That's basically that is very protectable. I can't say that it's gonna be totally like just ours, but it's gonna be very difficult for someone else to compete in this space, or like say a multitude of competitors. There are a couple of American defense companies which are exploring this space, and yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. I don't know why they haven't released a product yet. Not exactly sure, but I know that our developments are, in my opinion, a step ahead just in terms of power, size, scalability, safety, alignment. The architecture of our product is superior. So we're moving very quick. So I think that is the most protectable. And of course, software is like the total opposite of that.
Yeah.
Especially now with AI, it's a challenging space to be in.
Yeah, as the Impulser account, I think you guys have a very strong moat here. On that same note, when you think about these blue ocean technologies, it's really important to kind of be the first mover in that. Like we see there's a lot of value drive to the first mover just because of brand recognition, name, pioneering it, innovating it. How are you guys thinking about just being the first to move and the first out there on market? So
I don't know. I usually agree with you on everything.
Oh.
But I don't think first mover is the most important in this space. The first mover was the US government in the 1960s, and so far I haven't noticed any microwave or laser powered products out in the market just yet. In many ways, you kind of want to be the first to be second, because the first guy is gonna go out and take a lot of hits, and they're gonna spend the most money on it. The second guy catches up in the slipstream really well, learns from their mistakes, and then overtakes them. The thing that really
the first to move second.
Yeah, the first to be second it's a good. I mean, someone else might say for a second is the first to lose, but I mean, I think first to be second. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say, but I think when people look at a company, they look at credibility, and they look at like proven products. We have a lot of those. A good team, we have that. With a phenomenal track record. I mean, you really can't compare the track record of Patrick to many other people in this space. No. You know, he's done it multiple times. You know, literally worked at a company from like nothing and taken it to IPO several times. I don't know how many other people do that. I know Patrick, like, maybe a lot of people look at Patrick and go, he's probably living the high life. This guy is, you know, he's soldiering through stuff. I was in Geneva with him, and I was like, this is a nice restaurant there. We should go there. He's like, no, we'll go to that one. Faster, cheaper. You know, and I'm looking at him like, I think I might get food poison there. You know?
Between you and I, Roman, do we think Patrick enjoys his life? Maybe we need to sit down with Patrick and be like, are you enjoying life right now? Because you're just on go all the time.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think he enjoys the stress of being in that situation. I think he enjoys pushing himself into that. This guy flies coach. I'm like, hey Patrick, it's like 6-hour flight. He's like, business class. Why would I do that? I would just fly coach, and that's the startup mentality. That's the sort of mentality you need for a startup. Yeah. And that's why he succeeds where others fail, because he literally looks at the business and goes, that is a non-necessary expense. Get rid of it. That is a necessary expense. We'll double down on it. And so regarding the credibility of a team, that's absolutely phenomenal. Regarding the credibility of a products, tick, Lifefinder, Powercast, MagRes. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's great. The drones flying, The S drone is flying. The M drone is on its way. The Fortitude engine is, yes, it's a prototype, but yes, it's already producing energy, power out of it. I mean, this is a good shop.
I'm sold, Broman. I'm sold. Nonetheless, I think we've covered all the CPT, so I'll digress on that. One last question for you personally, because it's kind of on this topic of fear and what survives with this whole surgence and uprise of AI. And are you a Bitcoin maximalist? Do you believe in Bitcoin being the future? We see Ray Dalio recently has been on his fear mongering campaign. He's been doing this for years now, where he talks about sell all risk on assets, buy gold, buy silver, because everything else is, we're seeing the crack of the world as we know it. I kind of see that. I'm like, well, it's hard to barter with gold. It's clunky, this, and this. Like, he's kind of making a great thesis for Bitcoin here. What do you think about Bitcoin, Roman, just in general?
Ah, Dom, I have no idea about Bitcoin. I'm not
No?
here. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I can talk tech products. I can design a product for you. I can sell a product for you. I can market it. Bitcoin, I have no idea. I'm not
Fair
gonna lie.
enough.
I don't know. And I would definitely not be in a position to even voice my opinion or concern on this. But I mean, what do you think, Dom? I mean, really,
I'm not gonna force you to. You're so forward thinking, and like you've just laid out a few theses you have on like the future in the next 5 years. So that's why I brought up the Bitcoin thing.
Oh, no, okay. So, like, for example, the concept, the idea, about having a way to generate value, execute payments, all that stuff is got to be the future.
Mhm.
And we're seeing that with the adoption of a digital euro, with the multitude of new regulations that are coming in to allow it for the ecosystem to work and happen. For Bitcoin itself, I don't know. But this has got to be the direction. And I think that resonates with our mission, which is to democratize power, democratize energy. It works well with the idea to democratize data, democratize, bring value to as many people as possible. And it's got to be the way forwards. I mean, you're looking at traditional financial systems. They are suffering because in some ways they're victims of their own success. And this direction, which Bitcoin is part of, will succeed. I don't know whether Bitcoin itself will succeed, but I know that this is this got to be the way forwards.
Yeah. Do you use Revolut currently?
Yeah, I use Revolut.
Yeah, I think like that's kind of part of the thesis. You asked for my thesis, so maybe I'll just lay it out here. I think, right, you see this transition happening to digital payments, people, like you said, a digital euro, a digital dollar, digital, especially these currencies that are subject to massive inflation. They have black markets, for the currency, et cetera. They're manipulated. I think what we start to see, and we're seeing it now with things like Revolut and neobanks, is the digitalization of the valuable currencies. And then what happens in the countries where the currencies are less valuable is they say, well, if I'm transacting digitally already, I'm already scanning with QR codes, paying with QR codes. Why the heck am I using my valueless currency when I could just use the digital dollar or the digital euro? And I think what happens is we start to see a breakdown of those countries and a centralized focus and shift towards the valuable currencies. And so what I think happens is you get this breakdown. Eventually, everyone's using one currency, which the U.S. dollar is in the lead for that. But I think what happens is once everyone breaks down into the U.S. currency, they also realize, just like my currency, the U.S. currency can be printed, it can be inflated, and so fiat has this danger to it. And then you start going and transition to the digital golds and digital silvers. which then naturally transitions to something like a Bitcoin. And so that's kind of the thesis I see playing out. And of course, with gold and silver, Grant Cardone's doing the big campaign right now. Well, we have still 91% of the ocean bed to explore, and you can mine a bunch of gold. Or if it's super valuable, maybe we'll start going to the moon to get gold. And like, really, it might seem like there's a finite amount of gold and silver, but the ends always justify the means. And so if gold and silver are really, really valuable, people will find ways to extract more of it. And like we've seen, supply continues to increase. So the thesis that I see playing out in real time is digitization of the dollar and the digitalization of currencies leads to everyone realizing, well, all currencies are manipulatable and not truly intrinsically valuable, and we shift to something like Bitcoin or a stable coin of some sorts.
Yeah, I think there's like you've laid out in logical terms several steps. Now the question is, from where we are, how many people are like where we are now, and how many people are thinking like you are? Probably less, right? So the question is, will this sort of marketing education material, would that bring more people along for this point of view? I don't know. I think what you're saying is totally logical. Especially, and I think we're going down that route. And I think this is probably the direction we're traveling. I don't know how forward thinking you are compared to the fifth, like the 100th percentile, the 50th, the 75th. I don't know, but I think what you laid out is logical, and it does make sense to me, and I think it makes sense to a lot of people.
Just don't know how quickly we get there, but like certainly you can see people don't want their assets to be controlled or frozen, right? Especially when we saw, the Russia-Ukraine war start, we saw a bunch of assets frozen to the Ukrainians and the Russians, and like little things like that will chip away at people's belief, I feel like, in their currency. I don't know, and I think the Revolut thing is super fascinating because I think this happens really soon, where we see people leaving their native currencies to actually go towards a more valuable digital currency because of the rise of QR code payments and something like Revolut. Like, I just see that happening relatively soon in general.
Well, I think we're definitely going there. The question also becomes then digital sovereignty and who has control of what as well in a digital space. So, for example, the digital euro is controlled by, I think it's planned to be controlled by the ECB, the European Central Bank. I think that I from memory, I'm not sure. Don't like don't take my word for gospel, but I think they're planning to control it. So I mean, in some ways, control could be a stabilizing factor, or it could also not be. And I guess that's where, if it is controlled, then you need to have strength in institutions to prevent whatever, like undemocratic practices or whatever else you want to say. But I think we're heading in that direction, and the question is the upcoming realities and instabilities, economic, political, military, all of those factors, are they going to push people towards a solution that you're envisaging, or is it going to push people towards like gold and Swiss francs? This is the question.
I don't know. Lots of questions. I just thought I would ask you to get your thoughts, because I remember last time we had kind of talked about this on the show. You were actually in the comments talking about how Revolut's huge in Europe and you use it personally.
Yeah, it is huge, massive. And even like my traditional bank that I have. So I have Revolut, and I have a bunch of other banks, but even my like hyper traditional bank in Switzerland, like I could like digitally buy gold, which is stored somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know. And I could buy cryptocurrencies with the app. I could buy Bitcoin on my regular bank account. I don't know how is that available in the US yet?
Not that I use, just because I'm so I'm so tapped into crypto. I'm not going
Yeah.
to go through my bank and, experience the spreads and whatever. But I'm sure there's some options out there. But well, I think that's, if you want to talk about the general next steps, I think the next steps really what we start seeing is just big popular neobanks all around, where you start seeing more benefits, usability, optionality for holders, especially in the sense of like DeFi mechanisms, and then more distribution to from the bank you're banking with. Right, currently you get in a traditional bank 0.2, 0.3%, very small percentage of the money that you have in a savings account. I think with the neobanks, you're going to start seeing a lot more of that come back to the user. It's kind of like a competition to zero, of how much a user can get back, because we know the banks are taking so much in terms of they're going and using your money elsewhere, paying you very little interest. So I think that's like the next step. Does Revolut have really good interest on your holdings?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that. But I do want to ask though, do you think that whole ecosystem will eventually link to platforms like Soar, and how would that kind of happen? Do you
I
think
would
there's
hope
a way, a mechanic that it would link eventually?
Yeah, I mean, eventually. How soon would we get there? I guess think about the history. So we're probably going to go in the next couple of years. Revolut's just grown so much. We're probably going to get into a more neo banking thing and situation. And Robinhood's really trying to do this too, where it's like the everything app. You offer equities, private equities, commodities, this, and this, maybe all your banking in one place. So I think that happens quick. Now for Soar specifically in private equity, we might be a little bit longer out, but I think everyone really wants access to private equity. That's super apparent to me. Like super apparent
Because
to me.
I have a feeling, I need to check this, but I have a feeling that from my banking app in Switzerland with a traditional bank, I think I could buy potentially some digitalized private equities
Right now.
Yeah, I think I might have access to that, because in Switzerland we have this fairly advanced, I would say, mechanism whereby companies can tokenize assets very quickly, very cheaply, and then tokenize their equity and then list it for sale. There's quite an interesting ecosystem on there. I think maybe you can get it up on your site there. It's called Taurus.
Do you have a
maybe
link
you can
for
search
me?
it.
Taurus? How's that spelled?
TAURAS.
Taurus.
Taurus, Geneva. Tokenized assets, Switzerland.
Taurus. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to share this. Here we go. Taurus right here. This might be it. Pop that up real quick.
Yeah, this is the one, right? So here you basically can come as a company and you basically tokenize your equity.
And this is legal. I mean, it's legal, but it's legal for you to just tokenize your equity right now.
Not only is it legal, I think they got a government grant to do this.
Who's tokenized on here? Like that's super fascinating. If this is already in the works, I could definitely see this being available in directly.
It's not in the works. I know companies which have already done this.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Are you guys thinking? I mean, could you offer already tokenized equity on this platform?
Well, I think so, but I mean, I haven't looked into it. But I guess it's the same as Soar. I don't know.
That's really
except
crazy.
this
I've
one,
never
I
heard of
think, is
this.
direct equity. I think I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I don't know the space.
Either way,
but
I mean,
it is interesting.
Crazy.
So I think this demonstrates that we're going down this route, and I think this is probably the way forwards for a lot of companies.
It's interesting that they've been able to crack this, and people like Robinhood and some of the other big players in the United States have not gotten like legal clarity to do something like this yet, because they have to.
Well, you do have you have a lot of states, right? You have a lot of states to work through this. Switzerland is a much smaller country. It can go faster, make decisions quicker. So I think, and also it's a very advanced country. I think it was rated the most innovative country, I think like 11 times in a row or something ridiculous by some
Wow.
NGOs. So it's a very innovative place. And I think probably the most investable place in Europe. The talent here is phenomenal. It's basically an open country. You can come and work. You if you get a job offer, you can come and work. Add to the economy, and it's that easy. And not to mention, you can speak there's 4 official languages. And you sit on the train, and they'll make an announcement. It's like German, then French, then Italian, then English, and then so it's a very open space country, and it's probably the most investable country in Europe. The talent here is fantastic. Great research institutions, very powerful and strong democracy. It's a direct democracy. And you can see here innovation.
Wow. They're going to post this on like their website or something. You just talking about it, and there's a strong fervor here from you, Roman. So yeah, this is wild. I don't know. Seeing this is pretty crazy to me. So
it's going to come to the US definitely at some point. The question is when.
So I would imagine these are just like non-voting shares of a company. Is it liquid? Can I go and trade in and out of these, or I have to?
Yeah. I think it's liquid. I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, people want it. There's a lot of money. The question is
whether there's geofencing. Like, is there any geofencing as well?
As in, like, you can only buy it depending on location, geographical location.
Yes. Because I would imagine that they can't get a license in the US, right?
No, I doubt it. I mean, which is why we're trying to work through so much of this regulation now in the US, which I feel like everyone wants it. Everyone's trying to push for it, except we just haven't gotten it. There's all
so
these conversations.
What's sort of like the hold up on the US regulation there? Well, what's holding it back?
Dude, I wish I could tell you. I don't know, but we have the Crypto Clarity Act. We have a few of these things being talked about to be passed. The whole debate around securities, I don't know what's holding them up so long. We were supposed to get some answers, I think, in January. I heard projections of like, having some of this signed and potential changes being made. But I don't know, dude. What's the holdup? Just like you said, I guess slow moving. A lot of people have to green light it, and goes through this long process. But they're leaving money on the table.
Do you see this administration doing something about it? I mean, they're quite innovative in this space, right?
I would imagine. I mean, look, you see it's getting done. I would imagine they get it done by, end of Q2, Q3, by the end of this year. I don't know. But again, like I'm throwing darts at a board here. I think they want to. I just don't know what's taking so dang long. I would like it. Everyone wants it, right? Everyone wants it. And there's a lot of money being made, so follow the money.
Maybe we should get Patrick to send this link to the administration. So I don't know.
If Patrick wants to go do some lobbying, he's more than welcome to. There's a ton of people lobbying for this right now. I don't know if that's where we want Patrick spending his time, but it's crazy. It's crazy. We all want access to private equity, and there are ways to do it. So this is super cool to see, though. Wild.
How does it feel for you like this compared to SOAR? Because SOAR is a very innovative platform. Does it sort of tick the right boxes compared to something like this? Like, how do you compare it?
No, SOAR compares perfectly fine. The only issue is, like I said, it's just the legal clarity. SOAR is doing what they can to offer equity with their workaround methods. Of course, ultimately the goal for SOAR, as we know, is just like to be able to offer liquid tradable equities in companies and have the upside on these private companies, that are very low in market cap compared to some like the SpaceXs and, multi-billion,
But
multi-trillion
it's
dollar
more like
companies.
a participation rather than direct investment.
Yeah, only because you can't. Only because you can't directly invest. So we know what they want. I think it stacks up nicely, and I think it's really sleek and smooth. The team, they're going to be competing in a very difficult market though, because if we do get this clarity in the United States, best believe Robinhood's going to dip into there. I guess their niche is going to be like much smaller companies. Like you're investing sub 100 million, 2, 3, 4, $500 million, whereas Robinhood's going to specialize, I think, in much more household name companies. Robinhood, along with a lot of these other platforms, I think Soar's edge is going to be, we're finding really bleeding edge, cutting edge technologies where you can get in them for 50 million, 100 million, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I guess that's a really exciting part of it, which is the journey and the massive potential upsides, right? Versus something that's already established. I mean, some of these guys, they call themselves startups, but they're like 100 billion invested. It's kind of like a mislabel, I would even call it.
I mean, look at Boston Dynamics, for example. Like they got acquired in 2021 for 1.1 billion, as we just saw. How much money do you think Mitsubishi's poured into it, though? In the meantime, probably, close to that number at least in and of itself. So, how can you even call these startups at this point, like you just said, when there's so much money going into it with parent companies who are so large and massive? Like, you're right. There's a difference. There's really a difference between the CPT startup that we're seeing and the Anthropic startup that just got $30 billion.
Right. And also one thing I'd like to add, which is always interesting, but it's the curse of big money. So when a product development team has access to infinite money, you make decisions based on infinite money, right? Like you can plow so much and get so little. There was a European battery manufacturer. It got huge investment, billions of euros, and it flopped because having that much money actually dries up innovation.
Yeah,
because you're not forced to innovate as much as you would.
I mean, think about it.
I think that's something to be said.
These guys come into a bunch of money that they have large control over. They put themselves on a nice plush salary. They have basically sold, a large chunk of their company. Is it really even their company anymore? And so, there's a lot less vigor and motivation to just build this into the grand vision that they once dreamed of once they have that capital injection. So
yeah, and that's why when Patrick goes flying coach, I'm like, that's a sign of a guy who's got big visions.
Yeah, there's no
past
plush.
that. He's gone past. He started on first, and he's like, I'm gonna go to coach and execute this big vision. So that's something. I think that's a major point.
Yeah. All right. Well, we covered a lot. We got to chop it up outside of just the CPT context as well today, but I got some notes here. Back on the private, equity conversation to wrap up. It's just like, again, I'm looking at Empulser, right? And right now I'm looking at on the Soar platform. You can get shares of this company in their workaround way at a $13 million valuation. Like, where else can you get the upside of a company like Empulser that is striking all these deals, building these partnerships, has the clear moat we talked about, is working on all these different verticals, directionally is aligned, has a great team for $13 million? Like, there would be, and I think it's also because the system is just not proven. There would be funds, venture capitals, and I've even spoke with some of them that would chomp at the bits to get Empulser at a $100 million valuation, legitimately. Like, I've had these conversations, and the people paying attention can get upside on that at 13 million. So I just think it's,
yeah, I mean,
a lot of hope.
ultimately, look, let's say let's just take one section, the most proven section of our business, which is the PowerCast side of the business. We are taking them, so they are concentrating on the US. By the way, I actually have some deals for them in the US, so I'm working with them. So it's not like I'm excluded from the US. But they're concentrating on US. We're doing the rest of it. So
This
just
went over a
by
lot of people's
that-
heads.
Yeah, like just that, which is like 30 million units sold in like whatever period of time. I think the majority of the 30 million units were sold like in the last 24 months. So just that alone in one silo of our business, and we're taking it global. I mean, that's already a huge success.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't even know how you value it, because you asked me to value it. I can't value it. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
No, that
But I think it's big.
went over a lot of people's heads. I mean, when you look at what PowerCast has done strictly in the United States, and you're now taking the distribution that we just described and talked about on the show largely to everywhere else and somewhat in the United States, 30 million units in the last 2 years. I mean, even if you guys replicate that success at a quarter, half the level, that's up for discussion. That alone puts a perceived value of the company, I would imagine, well over what it's trading for. So, like, there are opportunities. What would you say to the people that see you guys developing? They're not used to Web 2 traditional finance companies and the rate at which they move. They think everything in crypto land moves at every 2 weeks. We have updates like we see with OpenClaw and all these just fast moving, fast pace. In reality, that's not how private equity and companies like this work. And in fact, you guys are doing really big things. I just think it's hard to quantify to a lot of these people. And so you don't maybe have a fair value traded versus what the company is actually worth.
I mean, Dom, if you take a Venn diagram, right, of people who are like crypto native, I mean, people who know real companies,
Yeah,
it's like
right.
a fairly small kind of group, right? Which you're one of them. So I congratulate you.
Thank you.
But like even myself, I know a lot of traditional companies, businesses. I've done everything from design products, file patents, all the way up to door-to-door sales, digital marketing, all that. I don't know. I'm not crypto native. So even me, I'm, so that sliver of people is quite small. And there's a lot of discovery to be made. And I think we if we look at our chart, a lot of our movements were, let's say, like price movements, volume movements were announcement heavy. But as we progress in the coming weeks, months, and beyond, which is the usual timeline for companies, a lot of these companies take months, years to do the stuff that we've done. We are moving so quickly for a traditional company, and we're going to continue to move quickly. And I would just recommend to keep an eye out, and when you feel comfortable about the team, about the project, about the products, about the SOAR platform, when you feel comfortable with that, I think it's all there to be discovered, and it's just a matter of time. I think the first time that someone is going to prove the SOAR platform, I think it's going to revolutionize all of the companies. Because I don't know, like, have you spoken recently to the rest of the projects? What do you think, Dom?
I speak. Yeah, we have. I mean, I speak occasionally into the projects. Frankly put, SOAR. I'm not really interested in a lot of the projects on SOAR outside of Empulser. Just to be truthful, as a investable company, I think it's SOAR. And I saw the one. There's a gaming studio that's very niche in terms of what they build. And I think they have a good.
Come on, Dom, the glamping.
That's right.
Tom.
The glamping,
Dom,
the innovation.
Come on, I love glamping.
You love the
surely.
glamping? I am a glamper. No, not to throw shade at anyone, but yeah, really, the only project on there that's like super investable to me is Empulser, CPT, and it's all I hold from the platform. Still bullish on what SOAR is going to bring.
My wife got some glamping tokens.
Really?
Because she's been telling me we need to go glamping, and I'm like, yes. So we did we didn't research it. Maybe it's a phenomenal product. I didn't research much of it, but I saw glamping. I was like, glamping, gotta do it.
You taking a trip to Africa anytime soon?
that would be a dream. But no, it's I think the first company to really demonstrate and prove the SOAR platform, I think that's gonna change things. What do you?
That's
I
the
mean,
key. No, that's 100% the key. There's a barrier. There's clearly a barrier, and I think Vibu from Solana Foundation put it very clearly. I believe it was Vibu, but it's like we're seeing tokens that should be represented much higher in market cap, trading at just brutal, significant differences between real fair value and what they're actually worth because the platform in between has not been proved out. And until we get a model to prove that out, there's going to be that lack of trust. And I see this as an arbitrage opportunity because I've talked with Tom. I trust the SOAR team. I think they're building something really cool. I'm excited for the future. And so where I think I see that, a lot of people don't. And so once, like you said, it gets proven out and the model's proven out, they can say, oh, wait a minute, there's some really valuable companies on this platform that have been held down and restricted just due to the vision not getting proved out. And now it's proven out. Well, there's a massive arbitrage opportunity here. Personally, I'm just executing on the arbitrage opportunity now because I see this happening at some point where I think others are waiting for that to happen. And I think just generally, they're generally boxing a lot of these companies into the crypto box. When I'm looking at them completely differently, people are getting impatient. They see Bitcoin dips and they sell a token that's pegged against USDC. And for me, it doesn't make any sense because this has nothing to do with the crypto market fluctuations. So it's actually sort of a hedge against the crypto market. But I think the answer there, like you said, is once this model gets proven out, you'll quickly see a repricing of the products on the platform. And
what is it that we can do as a community? Because I think this is a community-wide effort. I mean, Tom, SOAR, those guys, they're great guys. They pragmatic solution. They find solutions. What is it that we can do all together as a community? Is there like some sort of community call to action that we can all contribute to this?
I mean, outside of just showing support and distributing content like yours and showing that there are smart people that believe in this vision and platform, I don't see much, right? I think it comes down to again, like people are doing lobbying, people are trying to get some of this stuff legalized in the United States and surrounding areas, and I think that's what it's going to take. Or it's going to take, and again, this is not really community centric. Like you as a community member, maybe you can go and do some lobbying for SOAR and whatnot, and that'd be great. But most people won't be able to do that. So the best thing a community member could do is, I would say, just distribution, like what MCG is doing, taking these clips, like what you guys are doing, taking these clips, just letting people know what's available, and it's the best solution we currently have. Outside of that, I think the best actual solution, like you said, is proving out the model. So it's going to be something like CPT going and closing a fundraise at $100 million, and people are like, wait a minute, okay, I see CPT is valued at $100 million by these funds, even if we are going to trade at a discount because the SOAR model is not direct equity or it's not completely proven out, you would still see a reprice from the $13 million up to a maybe 30% discount, 20% discount, whatever. Again, the caveat there is you could even say maybe it should be trading at a premium because on one side, you don't have access to the equity. On the other side, the only way to get access for some people is through the token. So maybe it doesn't even trade at a discount. So what can the community do? It's very hard to say. Just distribution, getting the word out there. What needs to happen is fundraise or liquidation event.
Do you think also there's a potential of crypto, these platforms in a way becoming a route for more people to get involved that aren't yet in the know of this space? Like there's got to be millions of people that haven't yet come aboard, and maybe the barrier to entry for a lot of people, like for example, I think we all have some uncles, right, which either have bought Bitcoin or a bunch of uncles which are like, I'm never touching that because it doesn't have material like use, versus a platform like this that maybe should be targeting that uncle that hasn't bought Bitcoin, right? Sort of like traditional marketing, I guess.
I think just enabling private equity to people through crypto rails is going to be one of the biggest onboarding events to crypto we've ever seen. because we know these people want access to private equity. Are they going to be willing to hold a stable coin and use a crypto platform, or use a platform that they don't even know is crypto? The rails just happen to be crypto, to onboard them on into crypto. And once they find out, oh, wait a minute, I'm using crypto, maybe there's something to it. Totally. I think it's one of the biggest onboarding events we're going to see, which is why I'm so happy to see that these tokenized equities are becoming liquid and tradable only through crypto rails. There's no other way to do it right now. And I love to see that, because I think that onboarding event's going to be massive, because the average Joe, the average traditional person, knows about Anduril. They know about, Kalshi. They know about Polymarket. They know about SpaceX. They know about the big ones. That's kind of like the onboarding, the first taste. How can I invest in these? Okay, the only way I can do is through this platform. I trust it. It's proven. It's got crypto rails, but I don't even know that. As long as I can get access to these private companies, I'm in. Okay, wait a minute. I'm in the app. This looks cool. This is, what's it, CPT, Empulser. Okay, well, this is trading at 13 million, but I see they have these patents. I see they have these partnerships. Let me invest in this. And then you're in the rabbit hole. So I think step one is giving them a taste. The onboarding is going to be largely due to these household names that are private companies coming on. Once they find out they're on crypto rails, I think it'll loosen them up to the idea. Well, crypto is good for something. I have access to these cool companies. What is crypto? What is Bitcoin? How do I create a wallet? How do I control custody over these things? And they go down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
All right. Got it. So Dom, what are you doing to target my uncles?
This is so weird, Roman. I'm in like the hot seat for once, and I don't know how to act, dude. What am I doing to target your uncles? You're not gonna like this,
because
man.
we have to get them on board, right? We have to get those sort of guys who didn't invest in Bitcoin and crypto because they don't see any real world applications for it, versus us and the other saw companies who are actually doing like real stuff. Like, I'm gonna go back to the glamping guys, Ubuntu glamping. They're doing real stuff, right?
They are.
That's got to be valuable.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually probably some level of arbitrage on the token versus actual revenue they're doing. Now, people are very, 95% of venture money right now is going towards AI. And so, and like that frontier technology. And so when you see something like glamping, it's much harder to value. Patrick talks about it all the time. Timing the market is so important. I think, and this is not answering the question at all. It's just going on a tangent here. But Empulser, when it comes to timing the market, like, it's such a good time to be an investor in this technology. Whereas I look at something like glamping, and it's like, well, it is a lot of money flowing to, tents, nice luxury camping in Africa. I don't know.
You know what, Dom? I'm gonna have to call them up, and we're gonna have to do some sort of CPT application for them.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's the takeaway. That's the real takeaway from
that. Would make the glamping vertical much more valuable. How do we target your uncles? What? I think I just laid out how you target your uncles. You make it super user friendly, and I think you start with the big boys. We talked to Tom from Soar not too long ago about this rollout they're doing, and they're rolling out a mobile app that's not going to target crypto natives. It's going to be just like, and they have some really good guys that are doing the rollout of this and the marketing side of it. And they're going to be doing something like Robinhood did, where it's like sign up for $5 of a random stock for free. Of course, they have, yeah.
What's the right term for this? All right, yeah, I'm very bullish on that. That is a very, very good move. Especially because I think one of the issues is a slight, if I may say, a slight lack of communication on the SOAR platform itself. We're very, I mean, especially from us, we're very reliant on X, on you guys. We're super thankful for that. And I think a mobile app will boost that a lot. Do you know any specifics on that app?
We had a call with Tom, and he explained everything he could. Specific on the apps, outside of it just being super stupid simple. They want it to be very user friendly. It's not going to be targeting crypto folks. It's going to be targeting, Web 2 guys that just want access to private companies. And I think that's the way to do it too. Like, frankly, there's a subset of people that trade within the crypto markets, and for this to actually go mainstream, you have to take it mainstream. You have to take it to the Reddits and the traditional people that are buying penny stocks and dabbling in that direction. Specifics on the app, No, I know they're going to keep it very simple. They don't want to overload these people with information, and they're going to have some sort of program where it's like, okay, sign up or sign your friends up, and both of you guys get $5-10 in a random stock, as like a little customer acquisition mechanism there. I don't know much more than that, no, or at least much more.
I mean,
public.
that's such an interesting way to do it, and actually, this is a very well proven way of attracting new customers, especially if you can weave in some social media aspects. Like in China, they have those platforms, right, where it's like Facebook married to Amazon all in one.
Mm-hmm.
And they get phenomenal sales and interest and just a lot of eyeballs on screen at the same time. So that's a massive move for Soar. And I don't know how you're feeling about it, but I'm
Feel great about it.
That's amazing.
I'm generally
That's really
unbothered by the short-term price action of Empulser and Soar and like this whole move of private equities on chain. I'm unbothered by it because I know what's going to happen. And, you know, if it takes a little bit longer and people want to freak out and want updates all the time, like they're fine to do whatever they want personally, but I really couldn't care less because I know what's happening. I think it's a great move. They also have the head who's heading up the marketing, and I have it in my notes somewhere. I would just have to scroll back far to find it. You guys should go watch that video. But who's heading up the marketing is the same guy that did the Amazon Alexa campaign. So they have the resources as well as they have someone on the team that did something very similar in terms of like a Kickstarter for startups, where you got equity, I believe. And I don't want to butcher the details and spew out names and stuff I can't fully recall, but they have a really good team that's set up for this. And I think they could really break into mainstream, which is what I'm interested in. And that's where your uncles can get involved. And frankly, what I'm doing now is positioning before everyone's uncles have the chance to invest, because surely someone's going to realize at some point that there are these companies on here that are trading at a significant, discount.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah,
I
I'm not going
enjoyed
to keep you
asking
longer.
the questions for once.
I enjoyed the discussion. I think we had a good back and forth here, and we learned a lot about CPT. What I think is going to be the answer for a lot of people is because you and I can have these conversations. We can understand the long-term vision. We can understand loosely like what a value of this should be. I maybe talk to some funds personally, like you said, you did the Venn diagram. There's a very small sliver of people that have the mix between traditional finance and Web3. And for those few people that fit in there, I think they can see the vision. For everyone outside of that, they need numbers, hard proofs, things that'll say, okay, I can tie a real value to this based on this. I can talk to due diligence teams. I can talk to funds. I can see what these patents are worth based on similar companies that have patents and what they're valued at. Not everyone can do that. I think for them, the answer is, okay, Impulser literally went and raised at this valuation, or Impulser struck up this deal worth X amount that's going to drive this much revenue to the product. And once they have those numbers, now they can quantify what they think to be a fair value. They don't have that, so I think it's very difficult for them. And so the only people that are accumulating supply right now are the people that are in the know, like you said, and the people that are paying very close attention. Once Soar, I think, becomes more popular, well, that's, of course, when your uncles start buying, they'll see it, and naturally you're going to get that effect. But you said a lot of stuff about Empulser that I think was fascinating today. You guys are innovating on so many verticals. You guys have this beautiful moat. Said so many times, but I'm excited for what you guys are building. Rowan, I appreciate you coming on. Any closing thoughts you want to give the people?
No, it's a pleasure to be here, of course, as always. And if you guys want to register your interest in one of the products, that would be phenomenally helpful to us.
How does that help you guys?
We are building up basically a database to say we have interest from XYZ number of people, which just increases the gravity of the project, basically.
Interesting.
Not to mention that soon we'll have, we want to have like a database of people that are interested in a product like the M drone, for example, because fairly soon, if you go on that page, you'll see the timeline to when we will launch a consumer product, and then we can offer that as well. So the M drone will be a consumer product as well. It's a quadcopter consumer product. You'll be able to buy it. I doubt anyone would be able to buy the S drone that's laser powered. I think it might cost like 200K, maybe 500K, depends on what configuration you have. I don't think many consumers are gonna
We got some good
type
viewers.
something in and a truck arrives with like a massive generator, diesel generator, a laser turret of 4 kilowatts, and a massive plane. I don't think it. But the M drone, I think a lot of people would be very interested in that.
Much more practical, much more fun. And so question on these numbers, the more science you have, the better data collection you have, and then you can go to these customers. It helps in negotiations, I'm sure. Are the vanity metrics the main thing you want? Okay, we had 100 people show interest, 1,000 people show interest, or is it more so like actually gauging the interest of your customer? I'm just trying to understand what the most.
Yeah. So basically, so regarding the like letters of interest or interest lodged or whatever, that kind of bracket of information is important for any startup to have in ammunition when we are discussing to get registrations for certain things, funding rounds, sales, negotiations on manufacturing. All of that is important. We have quite a few of them already from big companies, but it's not like there's 1,000 big companies out there, right? So we're like doing it one by one.
Trying to think of campaigns to get people to go and just sign up, register, show their interests. Maybe
and it's a bit of fun, just engage with us. Just it's a bit of fun, engage with us. There was a section of the website that's going to go up shortly as well, which will on the mobile version, it's already available. It's basically like an AI tour guide. I think maybe I sent you a link a couple of months ago.
I've tried it
like
out.
An alpha. Yeah, so there's like now a mobile. I think it's only on mobile, maybe. So you can have a chat to Ember. It's our AI tour guide on our site.
Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Empulser.com. Let's just see if I can get that on deck, because I was looking for that.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, here, let me pull up the stream.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so you can chat to Ember. And Ember will guide you through our site. We are, I would call Ember right now in a beta phase, but we'll be upgrading her knowledge base to cover more products, to allow people to have a conversation with Ember about the project in detail, in a way, kind of log everything that we've spoken here.
Got you. Yeah, so she can answer all questions regarding the technology and.
Yeah, at the moment, it's a little bit restricted, the knowledge base. So she knows things like about Patrick and that Patrick has sang mode slogan.
She's up to date.
Yeah, but there'll be more coming.
Got you. Okay, real quick, run through some questions in here for you, just because we got you now. So, what financial tools or products is Roman most bullish on? Anything you're most bullish on, financial tools and products currently?
Regarding, I mean, SOAR, obviously. I mean, it's got to be the way forwards, something like that. Right now, of course, we have that participation model. Because it's US based, so it's a participation model. As you saw earlier, we showed a real equity model from Switzerland, Taurus. And I hope that at some point regulation might allow something like that in the US. I mean, what do you think, Dom?
No, I completely agree with you. So hypothetical question here, not saying I think this is going to happen or want it to happen, of course not. But what happens if SOAR does go down, and you have this equity that was tokenized on there, or pseudo equity? Is there a way you would ever like do a snapshot and say, hey guys, we still got you with the equity. You would just have to, like, maybe if CPT separated from SOAR or anything happened to SOAR, would you somehow still honor the equity that people have, or have you even thought about that?
What I have not even thought about SOAR going down. There was no doubt in my mind
Me either.
at all about that. I will speak to Patrick regarding that. I would say Patrick is very honorable and thinks about our holders. I mean, I think there's a quite a lively holders chat community that Patrick is always on.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, no. I mean, I never doubted SOAR's stability. Let's say, but
Yeah.
we should think about that. Actually, Dom, we should think about that.
Just a hypothetical, of course. I'm with you too. I have zero doubts over SOAR stability. Actually, the more I talk to them, more I'm like, this team is just really solid, and I've done the vetting. But some people may have reservations, as we've talked about. The platform's kind of the part that makes this either trade at a premium or a discount to what it's actually valued at. And if people have guarantees outside of SOAR, maybe that reflects in terms of.
I just don't know how that's even done in a legal framework. Like, for example, if it was Swiss based, like if the SOAR platform was Swiss based, then those are protected because those are that's equity, like legitimate equity. On the SOAR platform, that's participation, and I don't even is there even another platform that offers something like that? I mean, how would you even
there are a
take one
few
to
emerging.
how would you like translate that to another platform? I don't even know.
Well, I guess the current equity amount is held in the SPV by SOAR. If SOAR goes under, that equity would still be held from them. So in order for you to, I guess, make good on the equity to everyone else, you would have to
you would have to
take out
hunt
more
people down
Yeah.
also. These are like people around the globe. We'll need to
find
them.
For the digital holders, you would just do a snapshot and they can transfer. I guess the issue there would be, well, you've already given this equity to SOAR. So if SOAR goes under, they still hold that equity despite not having.
I think this is a question you should ask Tom next time you get Tom on the podcast. I think you should absolutely ask Tom that question, because I think that's more of a SOAR question right now, because I don't have clarity on how that would work mechanically.
Well, how I understand is the current equity is held in an SPV owned by SOAR, right? Is that how I'm understanding it? And then what happens is that any liquidity event, they can choose, or they have to use that for legal purposes. They say the word choose, but they will then distribute that if there's an acquisition, merger, whatever it is, that cash to people who hold the token. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know the answers. I was just curious to hear what you guys had thought about that. But kind of leads into our previous conversation about, okay, well, maybe the SOAR model needing to be proved out is what's holding the value of CPT at its current level. And so if SOAR is a factor, people might want I don't know.
Yeah, we need to. I think we need to speak to Tom, and we need to speak to Patrick regarding this, and get clarity on how that would work in the most extreme of situations, basically.
Yeah. It's a sticky conversation to have, because it's not like we believe this is going to happen at all, or we foresee it happening. It's just some people want to know. So Mr. Crypto Jones, or Romaine Lettuce in this case, says, where are you manufacturing?
Yes, we are manufacturing in several locations. Basically, there are products being made in the US, components being made in the US, components made in China, components made in the European Union. They arrive to assembly points. Those assembly points are US, and then we're establishing one in Switzerland. There's obviously an assembly point in China, in Shenzhen, obviously. And so it's a distributed manufacturing because there's so many products.
Sweet. What else do we have? You've answered this before, but maybe just touch on it real quick. Is PowerCast affiliated with Empulser? What's the relationship?
Okay, so the relationship is quotation marks strategic partner. And we are basically commercializing their technology around the world.
Got you. Yeah. So, yeah, good. Okay, I think that covers it for the most part. Patrick said we'll figure something out. Yep, I have a lot of faith in you guys personally, and I think a lot of your supporters in chat does too. But fair question to ask, I feel like. So, always a pleasure talking, Roman. We will be keeping up. Anything else you want to leave the people with?
No. I would like to say Happy Chinese New Year, maybe a day late to Patrick. I believe he said it's the is it the year of the horse, right?
The year of the horse. That's right. Yeah.
The year of the horse. It's it's metaphorical, considering we're all about watts and power. So I think it'll be a good one.
CPT is the fastest horse in the race. All right, Roman, we'll keep up with
Thank you
you,
very
man.
much, Tom.
It was a
Take
pleasure.
care.
Peace.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, boys.